Welcome to Journey with Josh. I'm Josh Ubaldi, and we're taking you on a journey of a lifetime into marketing and advertising. Together, we'll solve every mystery about marketing you've ever come across so you can get all the leads and sales you want, and best of all, how to grow a business you truly love. Welcome to Journey with Josh. I am Josh Ubaldi, and today we are going to have a very special Q&A edition of this because we are talking about 3 specific triggers for better ads. I see these literally pop up all the time, and I often see total helplessness in figuring out how to move forward, right? If you've ever thought to yourself, ads don't work, and it's because of one of these triggers, we're going to move you through that today in the best possible way I know how. Now, of course, these are through the Q&A lens, and I have really good questions from our audience for this, but just keep in mind, I start in a very specific way with this every time, which hopefully will be really familiar to you, which is lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Does that sound familiar to you? Is there any bell being rung there? Because as you can make your way through Oz, right, where you're in the middle of the journey to get to the wizard, at the end of the day, 3 things come up: confusion, frustration, and overwhelm. Oh my. And that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to read 3 questions, and I really want to head on dive into the easiest way for you to engage with each, because this now becomes marketing and business coaching on a much higher level. If you think it's not for you, I'm not going to let anyone off the hook anymore. And especially with this is especially for you if you might think this really isn't for me. And for everybody else, you might move through it a little differently and a little faster. So let's dive into the questions. Okay, so Angela asks, hello Angela, thank you for your question. I get really frustrated with making my ads work. I also get frustrated with the ads manager because it's constantly changing every time I go in there, it seems. And I get frustrated because I'm not sure what to do when it's not working. What am I doing wrong? Can you help? Angela, yes, I can help. And I'm going to say something right now, which is you're not doing anything wrong. You are not to blame, and you're not doing anything wrong. I think we're just still having you in a starting place, and we just want to move you forward where you realize that you're not doing anything wrong, and there's lots of options, and we can help, and there's a lot of help for you. We're going to get to this specifically in a minute. Let me read Marie's question. Thank you for your question, Marie, which is, why is advertising on Instagram so confusing? It seems like everyone else is as confused as me too. Ads just don't work. And that's the refrain that we're so used to hearing, right? Ads don't work, or more specifically sometimes, ads don't work for me, or ads can't work for me, or ads can't work for my business, my audience, my offers, etc., right? I see ads work for everyone pretty much in different ways. So we're going to get you there. Ads can work. I totally get that it's often very confusing, especially if we haven't moved past that point. We want to get you past the point, Marie. Okay. And finally from Jenny. Jenny says, thank you for your question, Jenny. I'm not good at tech, so I find advertising 100% overwhelming. Why does it feel like I have to have an engineering degree just to make some ads work to sell my course? I wish I didn't get overwhelmed so quickly, but I'm not making progress. Ideas? And Jenny, I really love when people throw a lot of information there and then they're like, ideas, recommendations, thoughts, right? Where it's like advice, right? That's a big one. Advice. In fact, I have a lot of advice and I have a lot of ideas, but they're not just ideas to throw out and see if you think it's interesting. I want to put out something that is very specifically designed to move you forward and get you results. So yes, I have ideas and I even have some advice, but it's more than that. It's specifically coaching. It is specifically proven experience, and it's what I know will and can work for you if you are ready to now move past this. At the end of the day, guys, if you want to have a breakthrough, we need to show you how to walk through or work through to have your breakthrough, right? The breakthroughs are never, right, all of a sudden like buying a ticket and winning a lottery, the magic pill, the magic bullet, right? It can be almost as easy, but it's not like that, where all of a sudden it's like you've gone to sleep and you wake up being able to speak French, Chinese, Arabic. At the end of the day, you don't go to sleep and learn a language. There's a little skill and there's a little time, but it doesn't have to be too much, right? This isn't learning a complete language. All right. So, confusion, frustration, and overwhelm. Oh my gosh. Now what? Now, I call these the 3 triggers to success. They're not the 3 triggers for success. You do not need these 3 triggers. But many, if not the gross majority, 90% of people do find themselves with these triggers. So what do you do with them? What do you do? What do you do when you find yourself confused? What do you do when you find yourself overwhelmed? What do you do when you find yourself frustrated, right? All of these emotions rise up. And it's really important to know you do not need these triggers for your success and better ads, but you can use these specific triggers to give you a huge amount of success and momentum in moving forward so that you can make your offers ultimately work. This constantly comes down to coaching. Now, today, to answer these 3 questions, I want to specifically talk about each one, but I also want to make sure that I am giving you both a practical solution and also the deeper solution. Because the practical solution may be, for some of you, and we're going to talk about this in just a second, it just may be for some of you a little eye-rolling, where it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Because there's something deeper. And there's never a good practical result without something deeper. And this is a community where we want to go deep fast, and we need to make sure that we are always aware that there is something deeper, and that deeper thing is what pulls you through and much faster and much easier, which is all about this today. Now, before I talk about confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, oh my, I want to say, I used to talk about this in such a way to say, this may not be for all of you, right? Some of you, this just may not be for you. You may not be in a place where you can receive this information and make the most of it. I want to say, I'm putting the kibosh on that. I'm not letting myself off the hook as a transformative marketing business coach for your advertising and your marketing, but also I'm with love and deep desire for your success, like overwhelming, brimming up, erupting desire for your success. I'm not going to let you off the hook either. I don't want to let myself off the hook, but I don't want to let you off the hook either. There's some people who are super attuned to what we're talking about today, which are emotions. And you're going to find this easier to tap into and take faster action with. There's some people in the middle who are unsure how they feel, but this may be the first time they're even considering this stuff. And they're like, I'm going to try this. But there's also that other, let's say, complete third of people, 35% of people who are like, this is not for me because I am going to push, shove, force my way and wrangle, hustle, grit my way through all of this. And I'm going to say especially, this is especially for you because this is a place to work smarter instead of harder. This is a place to slow everything down so you can zoom ahead and speed up. And that's really all I want to say about it. But if you're disqualifying yourself because you're like, I don't want to talk about the emotional stuff, but you've still gotten here, you are in the right place. And if you are like, I think I'm going to shut this down and move on right now, right? That's okay. You can always come back to it. But at the end of the day, some people are never going to be in that place. But if you do know that you are more introverted, you are more empathic, you are more highly sensitive, let's say. If you're any of those things, I guarantee you're not applying those things fully to your marketing and your ads, which is why these emotions are happening even more. So depending on where you are in the spectrum, it's for you. because this is the stuff that we do deal with every day. And we start to not just shove it aside. I don't want to say work around it, shove it aside. We're working through it to give you the breakthroughs that you're looking for. So, confusion, frustration, and overwhelm. Oh my! Let's talk through each one by one and keep it pretty simple. The first one that we're going to talk about is confusion. And if I have to boil everything down, because we're going to boil all this down to make it super simple and something that you allow to be a trigger to move you through and get your breakthrough on this, right? Confusion is truly all about what we believe should be clearer, right? This is where some of you start like, yeah, hello. But unless we call it out and identify it and give it a name, we can't actually engage with it fully. So confusion's about what we think should be clear. So like I said, I'm going to give you a practical solution. I'm going to give you the deeper experience here because it doesn't work without the deeper one, but it can, right? Once you have internalized it. So the practical solution here, eye roll, oh my God, seriously, is to ask more questions. I see people sit with confusion and sit with confusion and sit with confusion and procrastinate and disengage and walk away and not deal with it, right? I see confusion be the thing that kills momentum. And I've seen confusion be the thing that disconnects you from yourself, from your business, from the back end of your business. And worst of all, if not most of all, it disconnects you from your audience. This is the thing that we want to move through fastest, which is to say, ask more questions. Where are you going to ask your questions? Me. If it comes to advertising, marketing, something about launches, coaching, courses, me. I'm the person you're going to ask your questions to. Obviously, if you got to look for a super immediate answer, you know what you do normally. You go to Google. You just Google and you say, can I get a fast answer? But usually it's not going to be a clear enough or complete enough answer. But at the end of the day, we love Google. As they say, GTS, right? My partner started saying this to me because someone said it to him. And I was like, excuse me, what is this, GTS? Yes, sometimes we can throw stuff out there like I have no idea. I don't have it with me, but we all have these little computers in our hands now, or we can Google something. But you're probably not going to get a complete answer when it comes to, if ads don't work for you, advertising or marketing, something about the marketing of launches, courses, or coaching, right? So ask more questions. But what is this about on a deeper level? This is where we can let go of the eye rolling, if eye rolling may be something you did in the course of it. Because I really want to come back and reiterate for a second, which is, do you actually instead find yourself as someone who, instead of finding the answer, that you do actually procrastinate, walk away, disengage, postpone, any of those things, right? Because this is what it's about. Confusion is always, always about helplessness. Confusion is about disempowerment. I want you to start entering a realm by asking more questions to someone who has answers, specifically me. If you're not watching this, I'm pointing to myself right now. If you're hearing this, ask me if you have a question about ads or marketing and why it doesn't work. Ask the question, because that reminds you that you get to empower yourself to find an answer, to find a solution, to get your momentum back and re-enter the zone and the flow of momentum. This is where we talk about zone and flow, right? Zone and flow enters here with confusion, because if you have a clear path, you can get in the flow or in the zone way faster. You can empower yourself to this. So this is why it's a trigger. When you feel yourself start to get uptight, and that's what I'm going to call this for everyone, even though you may experience it a little differently. Start to get uptight so that you then are prone to procrastinate, postpone, walk away, disengage, right? I want you to empower yourself and be like, this is my trigger. What am I feeling? I'm feeling confused. This is my trigger. I'm going to go and ask Josh a question to get the answer move faster. And I'm going to make sure that I remind myself that there are answers and questions because this works for other people. We'll talk about that in just a second. But they're there. right? You get to re-empower yourself. You get to leave the helplessness behind because that is the deeper issue here, right? The practical solution may be a little eye-rolling, and yet we still do it, right? The practical solution's always a little eye-rolling. You want to lose weight? Don't have as many calories and get some more exercise. Eye roll, right? It's always an eye roll. But it's empowerment. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you don't take no for an answer from yourself. You have to ask the question, and you get to ask the question. Hey, it's Josh here. Are you finally ready for advertising that works every single time? If so, then download the 3 T's of great advertising right now. We're going to give you our simple 3-step system that quite literally works every time for ads that do the job time and again. And as well, we're also going to give you the 7 marketing must-haves. These are the main principles so you can get the absolute most out of your investment in any type of Facebook and Instagram ads and beyond. Don't hesitate. Let's get started today and make this super simple. It's certainly not rocket science, and there's no smoke and mirrors. Download it today at www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. One more time, that's www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. And we'll see ya on the other side. All right. Let's move on to the second one. Confusion, frustration, and overwhelm. Oh my! Frustration is all about what we think should be happening faster. Needs to happen fast, needs to happen immediate, right? And these days, with so much technology, with so much social media, as they like to say, with so many tools available, there's just a crazy assumption that everything should happen like that. And at the end of the day, this is a trigger, and we're going to come back to it, but this is a trigger from your higher self, in my opinion, in my IMHO, right? To say, this is time for you to slow down. When you slow down, are you stopping? No. Let's talk about the next step of that. Frustration comes up. That's your trigger. It is telling you now practically, to give you the practical piece of this, slow down. Now, what's the next step? The next step is to step into gratitude and celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. This is the missing piece I see for literally everybody who is not leaving the zone of frustration. That they are frustrated, and I need this now, and I need it tomorrow, and I need it yesterday, and I need it immediately. And at the end of the day, frustration will not leave you unless you decide to say, wow, how freaking great am I doing now that I got to this point? Slow down. Most people are terrified of slowing down, I realize, because they feel like if I slow down, right, if I take my foot off the gas, if I slow down, I'm going to come to a complete stop. And that is not the case. It's so not the case. I am thrilled to tell you. I have, if you are not watching this and you're listening to this, I have like the biggest Cheshire cat grin on my face because I know from my own experience and all the people that I've been able to work with in different ways and different people, not all of them, you don't need these triggers, but if you find yourself with frustration, I'm smiling because I know that it's coming up as a trigger frustration to tell you to slow down, because slowing down lets you speed up. Let me say it again. Wait, what? Counterintuitive? Yes, so much of marketing is so counterintuitive. Slowing down lets you speed up sometimes, right? If you not take your foot off the gas, slowing down is taking a curve. Instead, maybe think of this like a racetrack where you don't necessarily speed up along the straightaway knowing that there's a turn up ahead to something better, the finish line. You don't speed up straight away and speed up through the curve. You crash when that happens. You crash and burn sometimes. I don't want anyone to, number one, crash, and I never want to see them burn. Instead, you slow down to safely take the corner. And once you've entered the corner, maybe then you know exactly the point and you start to get this from experience to speed up around the corner and you keep your momentum going. But you have slowed down in order to speed up. So you are going to slow down. You're going to say, oh, yes, higher self, I'm listening to you because not every thought in my head is me. It's something else, possibly ego, higher self, determine which is which. So enter the space of gratitude. And that, for some of you, may be something that makes you eye roll. But at the end of the day, you got to celebrate your wins. And I've asked different people over the years, how do you celebrate your wins? And for some people, it's huge. I pay myself. For other people, I go out and party. For other people, I give myself a date day on my own. For other people, something as simple, which once someone told me, I write in my journal. And I was like, that's how you celebrate your wins? That may be how you process your wins, but is it how you celebrate your wins? Who am I to judge, apparently? I guess I am, right? We're all judging somehow, some way. But at the end of the day, celebrate the wins. Re-enter the space of gratitude. And then you can pick your momentum back up. Because you are now going to start to become aware of the pace that is true for you, right? If you want to start working faster, that maybe means that you are going to enter those zones of confusion again, right? And you got to ask more questions and you got to, right? You got to reprioritize things. You got to give yourself more time because you're like, I want to work faster. I want to get solutions. I'm going to reprioritize my time. That now creates waves in your world, which now creates more confusion and frustration. Yes, that's growth. It's expansion. And that in and of itself creates all of these things coming in at once. So you get to slow down yet again and recalibrate and say, I'm going to slow down and I'm going to celebrate this win. And this is awesome that I got to this next step and I got to ask more questions and then I get to move forward yet again. At the end of the day, this on a deeper level is very much about acknowledging the fact that anger is the easiest emotion as well. Right? Anger is the fastest and easiest emotion for anyone to pull up, right? It's like something didn't go my way. I have a lot of choices when I'm in my right mind and I'm actually responding to my higher self. But when I'm not, anybody from a 1-day-old person to 100 person can always choose anger. That it didn't go my way and I wanted it faster. I wanted it immediately. And my question here is always to come back, and this may be a big timeout for some people to say, who told you that this would be immediate? Because I'm going to say they did you a disservice to make anything out that it would be immediate, right? You want an answer. Sometimes there's a little more to an answer. It's not to say it's going to take you a year, 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 days. You can get the answer maybe sometimes in 6 minutes. But if it took you 6 days and you got a lot of other stuff under your belt to get you closer to your 7-figure upgrade, would that not be worth it? This is really especially for you if you know that you're often in a place of frustration and immediate gratification is something you get to work with. And I do mean get to work with, because your world is about to expand and change in ways you maybe could never experience so much relief about. And for other people, it's going to be an easy trigger to say, I can try this out. I can spend more time in this zone and I can create a huge more amount of happiness and joy about how you work in your business. But at the end of the day, I want you to replace the anger with gratitude, because that reminds you that it's healthy and safe and good to slow down before you get into the turn that brings you towards the finish line that you're working towards. And finally, confusion, frustration, and overwhelm. Oh my! Overwhelm is the one where most people find themselves shocked. I think I'm shocked. I'm overwhelmed, right? It has less of the angry sting that frustration gives you with that zing of anger. Why isn't this working immediately right now? Right? But it's like, God, I thought this would be easier. Overwhelm is all about a belief that things should have been so much easier. So how do we talk about this both practically and in the deeper way? In the practical way, I want to say this. You can practically let things happen if you just follow more proven processes. The thing that I discovered working with so many businesses and so many niches and so many audiences, totally different, right? I'm the common denominator with maybe doing advertising for a person, but I've worked with all these different things, and yet they all boil down to the same thing. Is that demeaning? Of course it's not. It's a pattern that stands out. It makes your life simple. And so much of this is about patterns and systems. You have systems and patterns in your household every day to brush your teeth, make meals, take care of family and friends, kids, grandparents, whatever generations are living with you. You have patterns in your life to socialize and be with friends and do self-care, whatever it is. You have patterns and systems. And yet when it comes to business, it's like everybody just randomly cobbles things and throws them together, finds themselves in overwhelm, and then calls things burnout when really there haven't been patterns or systems fully in place. And that's really where I get to help people most, because that's when they realize, oh, implementing everything actually maybe hasn't been quite as easy, again, as someone told you. So just like I said with frustration, this is a good moment, a big aha moment maybe, to say, who told you that everything would be so easy, that you would write 7 figures in 6 days or 6 figures in 7 days, whatever it is, right? You can achieve that, but it may take you a month, 3 months, 6 months of work and putting stuff in place and implementing and understanding how your audience thinks and works in order for you to make the 6 figures in 7 days. I'm not asking you to shoot for 6 figures. I'm trying to help put in place something for you to have a 7-figure upgrade. And that's why we go deeper. So again, I have to make an assumption that somebody told you wrongly, unhelpfully, let's say, that this would be so easy. And I'm here to tell you, we can make it easy, and it's gonna get easier. And this is where you remind yourself that these 3 things start to come up all at once sometimes, and they start to go together. Confusion and frustration and overwhelm, right? And you get to pull them apart and let them be triggers to your success and not hold you back and create situations for you to disengage, postpone, procrastinate, walk away, and most of all, disconnect from your audience. I can't even tell you how much I want for your success, because it gives me so much joy and satisfaction to see businesses work through and have breakthroughs in this stuff. But the deeper thing here, right? We talk through the practical, use more proven things. Again, if that means the confusion, coming back to confusion, ask me more questions. Let's fill in your gaps. There are so many marking gaps because you've probably cobbled things together and your systems and patterns aren't working as well for you as they need to. The deeper thing here, at the end of the day, no matter what part I play or other support person plays for you, it is this. It is to say, recommit to your audience and recommit to your mission. What are you here to do? What is the purpose of your business? And what is the mission that you have to serve your audience? Because this is the single one very biggest thing I see, that when people take a break and working in their business with their people, that they feel so satisfied and they go to grow or ultimately try to scale their business, but grow their business first. Oh my God, they're so disconnected from their audience because none of the patterns and systems work as well as they need to. That's what I'm going to help you with. But at the end of the day, the thing that's going to pull you through asking more questions, taking wins and moving through frustration, letting overwhelm go, letting the idea that all this should be easier so that it happened a week ago. Maybe there's guilt and shame there that you didn't figure this out a week ago. Let it go. You are in the right place, perfect place right now. You have a resource who's thrilled and so excited to help you. Me, right now. You're in the perfect place and time. But I'm here as much as you are to help you reconnect to your audience, to reinvigorate and reunite yourself. I'm going to reunite you with your mission so you can reconnect with your purpose. But your business is here to serve an audience. Can you tell this is why I do work with people with courses and coaching. I'm not here to support just the people who are selling stuff on Amazon to make some money and they don't care who's on the other side of it. That's not a mission-based business. That's a financially structured business. And good for you. I don't mind. But I'm here to really help you, especially if you are taking things harder or slower and you are introverted or very sensitive or so empathic that things bog you down. But you can work through this. But reconnecting you to your audience is going to let the overwhelm slip away. So, confusion and frustration and overwhelm, oh my, you have practical tools now. Even more importantly though, you get something deeper. And in my world, the deeper stuff is way more important. I'm someone who doesn't want to start with the small talk. I want to have an interesting conversation. I want to know what makes you tick and your business tick and what you believe makes your audience tick so you can grow your business to something that makes an impact in the world. But I also know that confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, oh my, these are things that can be triggers when they come up to move you to success. You don't need them. If you've gotten so great in your world and your business that you'd never find yourself experiencing confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, amazing. May we all move towards that indefinitely and infinitely. But when it rears its ugly head, do you have a strategy so that you can move through it and keep your momentum? Now you do. So come back through here, ask questions, come into the community if you need support. Ask questions, find out proven methods. The systems and patterns are there. And if you want me to help you in your business, I will work with your current systems and patterns to help you make way more of them. Most people's businesses are so broken in so many ways. People believe that they're so burnt out, but really they're just not working efficiently or effectively because the systems need to be tidied up. And don't forget, at the end of the day, advertising is always really easy when it's the last and final step of really great marketing, right? Great ads is the final step of great marketing. Great marketing comes from really great patterns and systems in place. But don't let ever again confusion, frustration, and overwhelm disconnect you to your audience from your audience. Don't let it allow you to procrastinate, postpone, walk away, disengage. A business that you're here to serve. You're called to do something great in the world. Give yourself the space to do that. Thank you so much for joining me today in this very special Q&A with Journey with Josh. I'm Josh Ubaldi. Come follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, come to the website goldenringmarketing.com and start getting answers. There's no reason for your courses, your coaching, your launches that your marketing can't buoy up and bolster and get all those gaps filled in so your systems, patterns, everything works better and your sales obviously start to work way better because you're connected and you're synced up and aligned with your audience. I'll see you next time.